Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know who Rob Brens is, but he's probably, I don't want to give numbers. The number one most metal drummer in Australia, crushes everybody, is the king.
No, Scott.
just to put just to put you on the spot. I was trying to think of, what the echelon would be, and the people that come to mind are like Liam Weedle and Dave Haley, and I'm sure, and Troy Wright. Is that his name, Troy Wright?
Yeah,
And I'm sure there's other
but
dudes.
Troy's a whole other
Yeah,
beast. Like I saw him play at Unify with Pliny, and he got the call on 2 days' notice to do it. Like obviously, like he used to play with Pliny, but
right.
like they were still doing like newer stuff that he hadn't played. It was like because their drummer, he didn't get COVID, but his partner got it, so he had to isolate, and they just 2 days' notice. Even dusting it off, like that's an ask. I think they rehearsed the day before, and you can watch footage on YouTube. It's absolutely flawless.
Dude, that's what trips me out, is that like people get a call and then they're like, yeah, I was on the plane and had to learn like 20 songs. It's like, how do
Yeah,
you do that?
yeah. Like I've done those, but they've all been cover gigs,
Right.
and I might already know a certain percentage of them. I'm using charts. It's probably, and I'm not even doing the greatest job either. Like the endings are always a little bit, yeah, we're finishing here. But yeah, the ones where you're watching and it's just like really high stakes, like stuff that like Glenn Sobel would do,
Right.
and like playing to like arenas, and it's absolutely just you know flawless as. But yeah, like I don't know. I think Troy, I think he had like a little iPad that just had some very basic notes in it. Um, but yeah, I think it's just. I think if you've got like I don't know, if you've got a system and a method that works, and probably above all things, just like that, just a fucking good memory. Like my memory's
Yeah.
shithouse. Like some people, it just goes in and sticks, and then above all that, you have to like have the kind of mind that doesn't get clouded in those situations
Yeah.
because all of your prep leading up to that could be absolutely perfect, but if you're gonna get in your own way, fuck everything up and like get in your head,
Yeah.
then you're doomed. So yeah, it's they're a special breed,
Yeah. I
those
don't
guys.
understand, but that's fine, and yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
So, what are you doing now?
Nah, not
I thought
much.
I thought you was doing you're doing musically, you're doing Tusk and you're doing Mirrors.
Yeah. Well, yeah, musically, yeah, Tusk and Mirrors. They're the main ones. I do the other little sort of bibs and bobs with
Yeah.
covers, like little one-offs and fill-ins and stuff like that. But like Tusk is sort of a band that's just busy enough that it's just like okay, yeah, like that's like my gig kind of thing.
Is it
So,
every
which
weekend
is
kind of deal, or is it?
it's on average. I'd say it's yeah, it's gearing in that direction kind of thing. Sort of like the calendar's shaping up like for a month kind of thing,
Brilliant, yeah.
and yeah, and then mirrors, and that's it. But yeah,
When you were given the set list to the Fleetwood Mac stuff, did you? I mean,
yeah,
obviously, I'm sure you pumped it in your car, but did you watch like
yeah.
live gigs as well?
I've been watching a bit of that, yeah, because I was already a massive fan
Yeah.
anyway, so it's like I basically know this stuff already. But it was more just to like because you could tell he's like a very jammy kind of drummer.
Yeah.
So it was just I was just interested to see how just what he does live and what kind of just how he approaches it because it's like I'm not going to do note for note kind of stuff, but there are certainly things in there that those, even though he might have jammed them out on the spot, they're still very iconic things. And because of the older style recordings as well, there's some certain like say Tom things that could be a little bit. It's like what the fuck is he doing there? So I'll sort of like look at um, yeah, like just different live videos to see. It's like what exactly is he doing there?
Yeah.
And yeah, because with tribute bands, it's like you don't really want to go in and just fucking wing it and just be like, who cares? It's like, man, like, the tribute bands, you go in that extra length to, make it, you know, replicate what's going
So are
on.
you wearing like a white robe and shit? Was he a white robe kind of guy?
No, he's got like the black vest, white t-shirt, white robe, and like sort of like the red bandana hanky thing around the neck, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's like, yeah, pretty simple, but the vest is annoying as fuck because it drags on your. I don't know. It like creates like drag on your hands when you're playing. It like catches. It's
Do
weird.
you can you button it up? Or is that not cool?
I could do that. I mean, I don't think he does. Maybe he does. I don't know. I'll have to try it. But yeah, it's kind of. I find the same with like jackets as well.
Yeah. Let's talk about Mirrors and you guys
Hmm.
have released an album how long ago?
I think it was in October last year, something like that. I can't remember or maybe it was November. But yeah, thereabouts. It's just because it got delayed a whole bunch of
Yeah.
times. So the release date sort of escapes me. But Q4 last year.
Yeah. And you guys I saw a clip somewhere where you guys played at some sort of outdoor festival or something.
Yeah, we've done a few of those this year. We did Night and Day. Well, that was New Year's Eve kind of thing, at Cryle Castle, and we did um, Unify Festival, um, which like that was both of those were just like COVID handballs because um, X band couldn't do it because of COVID or whatever. And that sort of so both of those gigs came to us, in that kind of way. Um, and there was like in the Polaris show in Melbourne, which is basically like an outdoor festival kind of setting as well. So it's like the most of those things I've sort of done, you know, in a few months. So which has been sick. Uh, yeah, and sort of we're wrapping up the rest of that Polaris tour in a couple of weeks because we had to split it in half. Um, just because it was like at the time where sort of half the country was like opening up and the rest wasn't.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we can do, what did we do? Maybe it was just Melbourne and Brisbane. And we've got Sydney, Adelaide, Perth remaining. Which that's in 2 weeks. And then we've got another lap with While She Sleeps and Loathe. Loathe is sick. They're fucking cool. I recommend checking them out. Nothing against While She Sleeps because but more so like when I'm thinking about like what you might enjoy.
Yes.
Because like While She Sleeps is like it's more like that's more just like straight metalcore kind of stuff. Whereas like Loathe have this thing where they just one song will just be disgustingly heavy kind of thing, and then the next song will just sound like Deftones
Really?
kind of thing.
Where are they from? Where are
Yeah,
they from?
they UK,
Brilliant.
and they just kind of go in wildly different directions, and it's pretty unique in that way, and then later this year we're sort of putting our headline tour together.
Nice. So wait,
Yeah.
okay, so when is your very next gig?
With Mirrors?
With anything.
If
I want to know
anything,
your schedule like right now.
uh, 19th of May. I'm in Adelaide with Mirrors. So
Nice.
2 shows in Adelaide, and then we go over to Perth.
Who's on the bill with you guys?
That's Polaris, Alpha Wolf, and Justice for the Damned.
Nice.
They're fucking cool. Just
Are you guys headlining or supporting or what's the go, mate?
We're opening. Like, Polaris are they're fucking huge. Like so the show we did in Melbourne, it was like did you see where they did Full Tilt?
No, I don't get out of the fucking house, dude.
That thing.
I don't.
Fair. I mean, I'm only really getting out of the house for gigs as well. But they're doing. But yeah, it was like so they're this metalcore band from Sydney. They're all super young dudes, like mid-20s, give or take, at this stage. And I mean, that Melbourne show, there was like 3,000 people or something. Like,
nice.
Yeah,
where the fuck was that at?
Had like, there's so it's at that was at you were there. You went there for a different gig. The
Max Watts?
No, Reunion Park. the like outdoor it's like outdoor stage area in out near Burnley, Richmond,
Yes.
like that kind of area.
Was that the
Yeah.
King Gizzard show? Is that where they would play? Yeah,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, yeah. Oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. That was like the night after that we played there.
Nice.
So yeah, like yeah, so like yeah, this whole scene where like the Australian metalcore scene is just fucking gigantic, which is sort
Burgeoning.
of yeah, well, and has been for a long time. It's probably why like these bands get so big because there's such a big scene in the
Yeah.
country. You can viably play shows and tour and get enough of a crowd and build up your name enough that like okay, now you can afford to go overseas and shit. Whereas like the sort of more underground metal stuff where the market it's mostly overseas. Um, yeah, it's very hard to actually build up a reliable touring circuit where you're gonna um, basically just make the cash to keep the show on the
I
road.
am more than happy to play just the Bendigo and drive 15 minutes back to my house. With mirrors, how do they give you the music? Is it is it to a click and you do you come up with your own drum parts, or do they go like, here's the bass drum, here's the snare, keep this is the skeleton, but you can go as nuts as we need you to go.
It's a bit of a mishmash. So there's like sort of some stuff that's like there will be like a drum like program part over it just because Tyson, who does like the bulk of the writing, just has something to sort of vibe off. But essentially, like they're totally open to like, hey, I've just totally reworked this. What do you think of that? There's some stuff that's just obviously like, um, just like a guitar and kick drum sort of pattern where it's just like, oh, yeah, well, I'm not going to stray too far from like, ba bum ba ka bum ba 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 ka bum,
Right.
whatever. So, um, but if I hear something like, especially given the because it's in that metalcore kind of genre, like it's like okay, like any kind of trope that I can avoid, I'll just where it's like I could make this a little bit different. I'll do my best to sort of have a go at that. But but yeah, like yeah, it's a total mishmash where and sometimes I'll just hear something. I'll be like, "That's so sick." I'm just not gonna fuck with that.
Yeah.
Where it's if it like if it works, it works. But we had a bit of a because they're out in out in Taralga like 2.5 hours away,
Right.
so everything is just getting sent back and forth. So I'll sort of program drums here, whether it's like rework parts or a tweak or total rewrite or whatever, and send the MIDI part back to them, and they'll drop that into their session, and then send that back around to everyone else. But we work with the producer as well, so he sort of has his input as well. And so yeah, like when I listen to the album now, there's like stuff where I'm just like, oh fuck, I don't know if like, you know, I can't remember who came up with that kind of
Right. Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
because it gets fairly collaborative, and sometimes like Tyson might just do like it'll just be like a mess of toms that just sort of he was saying to me the other day he'll just program a shape, and then and they'll be like, okay, cool, well this is a tom section, so I'll come up with like a tom thing for that, or once again, if I just hear something else, I'll try that. And but yeah, first time over the weekend, I went over there. We had a rehearsal and had our first go at actually sort of all being in the same room and coming up with stuff together, and which was cool. The band didn't end, and
Nice. I mean, did you
we
did
it
you
all
have
actually,
did you have like
yeah.
somebody recording the whole time kind of deal?
Yeah, Tyson's got his own like setup that he works
Nice.
with, and Paddy had some melodic ideas, and and we just sort of just sat there and just kept bouncing stuff around each other, and then I just quickly jump on and program something, and then it actually worked, like because most of the time it's like Tyson will come up with a heap of stuff. Paddy, the vocalist, he's about half an hour away, so they'll have sessions together, and and then they'll sort of take that stuff to Scotty Simpson, who's like the producer, and they'll sort of do all the refinement kind of things, or so yeah, so that was the first time that we were actually in the same room doing the actual from scratch writing process, and actually went pretty well. Won't be able to do it like all the time because of distance, um, but yeah, it was just cool to see how differently you can come up with stuff.
Yeah.
When you're all in the same room compared to, they're just two different ways of doing things.
Yeah.
But just for convenience sake,
And
yeah.
when you go on a tour or something with Mirrors, or you got gigs coming up, how many rehearsals before the first gig?
We used to do like 8, something like that leading up to it. But with the song list we're doing at the moment, and the amount of gigs we've got behind us, and just the level of confidence as well, now it's just kind of like maybe 2.
Yeah.
Everyone does their homework. Everyone, we've done all the groundwork, so we know that, like, with say 2 rehearsals, we can be. It depends on how much time has passed between as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone, once everyone sort of does their homework and we get in the room together and just run a couple of sets, and we're good to go. But when we do our headline run, there'll be a bunch of songs from the album we've never played live, so that'll probably be a much more, probably be a little bit more extensive. Maybe we'll sort of get together and see how those newer songs feel, and determine from there if we have to do more. But yeah, we used to slog really hard, doing like sort of 8 weeks in a row, and just really drilling it.
Yeah, you want to go up there and kind of not have to think too hard about the shit, really, just so you can enjoy the performance.
Yeah, and being like sort of a up and coming sort of band as well, you sort of want to go up there and make an impression.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Have you heard the new Meshuggah?
Yes.
All the way through. All the way through.
Yes, but not like still. I still feel, because when you first listen to a new Meshuggah album, you need a good. It's like you're only really taking the first half.
Yeah.
Like it's like the second half is like, it's like so normal now that like it's just part of the course. And this is a long one too. Like I think it's well over an hour. I think it's like I've listened to it a few times, but the gaps have been too big in between.
Yeah.
So I need to just have a really good session. But like I want to do like another. I did one YouTube video which was like a discography ranking kind of thing, but that was for Ulva, and I want to do one for Meshuggah. So
where would you put Destroy, Erase, Improve?
That's the tricky one, because it's like when I have to like properly revisit it, because it's like it's like you got how you rate them personally in terms of personal enjoyment, but there's also just how important the album is as well. Yeah. So it's like, every time I re-listen to it, I'm just like, that is a fucking for when it came out and what they're doing, it's a very unique album. Whereas like then you got Chaosphere. Chaosphere is where it sounds like the band starts. Like that's where like they've just sort of, you had that little early period where it was like kind of thrashy and that sort of mesh of just that 90s metal with that little thing they were sort of toying with. And then like Destroy Erase comes along where it's like, that's like a Meshuggah album. And then with Chaosphere was like where it became the machine.
Right.
And then just that, and then that process, everything just feels like a process, like from that album. It's like the start of like this thing that they're sort of like putting together. It's like such a massive departure from Destroy Erase to Chaosphere. So yeah, I ducked the fuck out of that question, but like, yeah, because I don't know, because it's how many albums do they have? It's like 9 or 10.
Yeah, I don't even know the names of the songs anymore. I just know them by the fucking whatever beat that sticks in my head.
Yeah, you just go, the bad. Oh yeah, that one. Like
I try really hard to know the title of a song that what's the name of it? And I got to read it over and over and over, and it never sticks. It's just like learning a new person's name. You hear it, you see it, and then it's fucking gone.
I have that same problem, and I hate that about myself. That like, yeah, it's just I'm just trying so hard, just like hold on to that name. 5 seconds, it's
Yeah.
gone, and it's like I don't know what that is, but like
There's got to be a
I'll
name
remember
for it.
everything
There's got to
else.
be a name for it.
Yeah, I'll remember everything else, but yeah, with the Meshuggah, except with the new one, I just like Phantoms was the song that just got imprinted in my head because that song just floored me. It's it's a it's that one. It's it has like a 3 minute outro. It's just this one riff that just it goes forever, and it's just the best thing ever. But and that's kind of what fucked it for me. Well, in the sense that like when I first listened to it, first time listening to an album, and then once that song finished, I just had to go back. I just listened to that song and repeat. I didn't even bother listening to the rest of the album. I just listened to that song and repeat.
That's good.
And I'm like, I'm
And
done.
that's
Yeah,
that's on the new album.
yeah, it's called
I'll
Phantoms.
have to listen to that. I don't think I've
It's
heard it the whole way through, and I've had it on random. And anytime I heard like a clean intro, I'd hit skip.
I did.
I don't want to hear clean fucking guitar.
well, some of them are even clean intros. I think some of them are just like that's just the tune.
Right, right.
I feel like there's a couple of tunes that like I was like I don't think we need this.
Like
Like
I don't know. Didn't Frederick Thorndahl wasn't he working on Soul Niger Within 2? So he was kind of away. See, I don't even know if it was him doing the guitar stuff or it was that the Scar Symmetry dude, Paris Nelson.
I'm not sure. Was he
Scar
involved in this
Symmetry.
album? I'm not sure.
Look,
I think yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't because I think like the over the years the riff writing has just been they've just been playing past the parcel. Like Thomas will just have like guitar samples that he chops up into riffs. In the other guitarist I forget his name. I think
Frederick
it might
Thorndahl
be
or
Morgan. No, not
Martin
Frederick. The other
Hagstrom.
guy. Martin. Yeah, Martin.
Mm.
Yeah. Because I think he wrote Bleed. Like he's written a lot of the fucking the more sort of popular ones. But yeah, I think Jens. I think he writes some stuff. So yeah, it's like I think they've got enough like sort of enough going on within the band that
Yeah.
they'll always be able to put
They've
put something
got
together.
shit in the vault.
Yeah, but because yeah, I know I don't know if Frederick's still doing that album. I know he built his studio and he was working on his studio. And that guy was touring with Meshuggah.
Fuck, he did a good
But
job.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. Fuck, it looks nice. But yeah, in terms of like writing process, I mean, it still sounds like Meshuggah, that's for sure. But if anything, it sounds a little bit. There's like a lot of shades of older Meshuggah in there as well. Like just with the tone, like some of the guitar tones, some of the different riff styles, which is like I know you're splitting hairs when you're talking about Meshuggah, but like, but yeah, it's a fucking killer album. I think they probably could have just like trimmed it down a little bit because you just get to like once you get into the 50-minute mark, you're like,
yeah, I'd say 45. To me, 45 is tops.
Yeah, especially when if you're like a you have a very narrow sort of style. You could do 35 minutes and call it a day.
Yes. I mean, what was fucking Rain and Blood? 27-minute?
Exactly. Benchmark. Tell you what caught me off guard though. I rewatched the third Exorcist movie the other night. Have you seen it?
That's not The Heretic, is it?
No, that's the really funny second one.
Okay.
Like that's the really fucking unwatchably bad one.
No, is the third one good?
It's fucking excellent.
What year did they make that in?
It's 80s. Oh no, I think it might even be like 89. Maybe.
Is Linda Blair still in it?
No.
Okay.
So like basically the the guy who wrote the original one wrote a completely different story. And they made the movie, but then like the studio was like, this has nothing to do with the original Exorcist. Like it's based on the Zodiac Killer. So based on that, you might enjoy
Ooh, yeah. I
seeing it.
want to
Yeah,
say I've seen it, but I don't know.
there'll be scenes in there you might recognize. But like I was totally caught up because I remember watching it being like many years ago. Being like, oh, that was actually pretty good. But watching it today, I was like, it's so fucking good. Like this, like the lot of like the dialogue heavy
Mm.
scenes are written really well. You got all the and just all these weird sequences and yeah, you just sort of come away going, hang on, that was a really fucking good movie. And like I mean, like it does ultimately tie in with like the first one, but it completely ignores the second.
That's
Rightfully
fine.
so. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I think I highly recommend watching the third. It's really
Yeah, good.
good.
I'll do that. What are you currently
Yeah.
doing drum wise? Like, what are you working on now?
Um, so when I sort of have like a bit of a breather, I am just trying to work a bit more on like so if I sit down to practice, still just tidying up my hands, just trying to find more just general ideas to integrate into just like general playing,
Yeah.
like just having that, that kind of like free flowing thing that like that of just it's just the Vinny pursuit, really. It's just like getting that, just that, yeah, just that free flowing thing happening on the kit. So it's more refining and cleaning up my current vocabulary and just trying to expand on it. And but if I sort of have like a time and some breather, I'll be working on like more jazz kind of stuff,
Nice.
which I've like done like in the past. But I kind of want to be like, no, I kind of want to start again and actually go because when I went into jazz, I had no fucking idea like what I was doing or just how to think about it and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of want to like start from scratch and really at least just try and understand it. But it's just doing it like sort of consistently enough. But also with the Tusk show, there is like a drum solo spot in there. So actually having like, oh, well, it's like I actually have to work on soloing and just trying to build a structure and, do something that's cool that the audience can sort of, you
Latch
know,
on to.
latch onto. Because, yeah, first time I did something, it was just like, what
In
the
16
fucking
3.
lead balloon. It was it was just like, oh god. So but yeah, trying to find my own version of that because I would just like because then it's just like, okay, right, well, let's try and do something that people are going to get behind, and then it's like, but when I was first doing that, I was like, well, I'm just going to do it, but it just made me so uncomfortable because it was just something I don't normally do. That it felt like it came across that way. So that would end up being terrible. So it's just like, okay, I need to actually sit down with this and find something that I can present to people that they can like still tap your feet to, but like kind of be, something that's still me being me. And I've started falling into that now. Um, and yeah, sort of finding that sort of middle ground.
Vinny Colaiuta.
Ah,
Any new clips or
I've heard of him.
anything come up on YouTube or
Like, have you listened to his podcast?
I didn't even know he had one.
He does.
Did he?
He's an angry
Is he
man.
really? Oh,
He's an angry
did it
man.
have to do with music publishing or getting?
No, like there's like some I think like a lot of people like it sounds like the COVID thing. Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
like no, it is worth listening to because it's just
yeah.
him. He's done some interviews, but but yeah, some of this like 10, 15 minutes long where he just does like a bit of a brain spew. Maybe he's reading an essay that he wrote. And it is quite interesting in terms of like just learning about how he thinks about things and just the art of things and whatnot. But there was a couple of like very rant driven
Really?
ones. Yeah.
Wow. I'm definitely going to check that out.
No, scope it out. But yeah, but in terms of like the playing side of things, yeah, no, I've never really seen any particularly well, yeah, just like the odd sort of bootleg, sort of sometimes like an old clip that I haven't seen before, but there's just still that golden era stuff that just remains untouched by anyone,
Yeah.
really.
I still watch
Like that
Toomba
that
almost every day.
that 88 to 93 period, like that just not to take anything away, from where he's at now, but there was just something in that window there where you were just like, what the fuck is like just I don't know. It was just kind of like it's like throughout the 80s where it was like really savage and fiery and rock driven, and then the 90s was like where it got like it was always polished, but there was this polish that sort of started to come through in his playing, like the slick jazziness that was like sort of a big part of it. And there's sort of this window where the two were kind of both happening, where it was just somehow super chaotic and unhinged, but just slick as well, and just yeah,
What is the very next gig you're doing? It's May 9, right? In Adelaide?
yeah.
Okay.
May 19th in Adelaide with Mirrors. We're kicking off. I'll make sure I don't fuck that up. But yeah, May 19th in Adelaide. And yeah, all the, mirrorsband.com, youtube.com. Yes, /Rob Brens.
That's my brother-in-law trying to get back to me, and fucking it ain't going to happen.